we have filibustered long enough to bust into some breaking news.
Yeah,
apparently.
baby.
And I have to trust Pete when he tells us this because I don't know who's reporting it. I don't know who the source is. I'm sorry, Pete. This comes from NFL media. Saquon Barkley, a 1-year, $11 million deal to show up for the New York Football Giants with a $2 million signing bonus. So for the first time ever, and we talked about this possibility yesterday, you raised the question. They're paying him more, not much more. They're paying him $900,000 more than he was due to make under the franchise tag with a $2 million signing bonus. He's there. He's in camp. He's going to be there, and he's going to do what you suggested yesterday.
I mean,
he's got to have a big year now. He has no other real option. He's not going to sit out the whole season. So if you're going to show up anyway, you may as well show up now and get ready for the 2023 season and go out, kick ass, take names, and try to get paid next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy. I mean, I hope he was listening to us yesterday when we were having this conversation. I think this is the right play right here. You know, and for him, ultimate, long-term. I know, the running backs, like we talked about yesterday, they don't have, many bargaining chips or things they can do to back the team into a corner right now. So, okay, it's a short shelf life of a career for the NFL running back. Go get your money right now. Go do it. I'm so happy. I'm happy for the Giants. I'm happy for Saquon Barkley. I think it is the right move. And I think it's the right move, too, to capitalize on a bigger contract in the future. Now you stay sharp, you stay fresh, you're healthy, your mind sharp from, being there at camp. And, hey, we'll see. We'll see what he does next. Is he going to go all out? Will he put himself on a pitch count to a degree? I don't know. He could play some hardball like that, like we talked about. But as a Giant fan, I am extremely happy that the most dangerous guy on our offense is back on the football team and going to be ready to go.
The most dangerous guy on our offense. That is unprofessional.
I'm sorry.
Unless you have a mouse in your pocket, that is unprofessional.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's the other side of it too. And again, I'm just trusting Pete here. So don't blame me if this ends up being wrong. Sounds like there's no incentives. Pete loves this. It sounds like there's no incentives. It's just a straight $11 million. No promise that they won't refrain from tagging him again next year. So what he's looking at, if they would tag him again next year, it's a 20% raise over his cap number this year. Cap number of $11 million means 13.2 would be his franchise tender for next year. So he's looking at a 2-year haul of $24.2 million if they would tag him next year as well, unless they have promised not to tag him next year, either officially or unofficially. So that's better than it would have been under 10-1. That builds into next year. I'm just surprised he didn't push for 12.
Yeah, I hear you there.
It just shows you how little leverage he had. The fact that the Giants did anything is significant. There have been 2 occasions I can recall, we talked about this yesterday, Albert Haynesworth and Lance Briggs years ago, where teams had a formula for agreeing not to tag them a second time. This is the first time ever that a team has paid more than the franchise tender to get a guy under contract. The fact that the Giants did it, Chris, kind of implicitly acknowledges they know the tag was too low for Saquon Barkley. He got screwed by this tag.
I think so. I think it acknowledges a few things. I mean, one, I think the Giants historically want to do right by their guys. And I mean guys that they draft and guys that they feel like put their best foot forward to represent the Giants organization the right way. And Saquon Barkley's been a model citizen as far as that's concerned. So, I think that's where there's probably a little bit of a soft spot in their heart to get this done. And a little bit like we talked about. Again, the Giants got in the playoffs last year. I don't think you and I are sitting here ready to go, oh, definitely Giants are back in the playoffs. No doubt about it. Right? We know there's still, there's going to be a little bit more of a bullseye on their back this year, certainly. Their new scheme and how they play is not going to catch people by surprise. They need Saquon Barkley. He's like one of those guys we talk about. He can go above and beyond the playbook. He can do things that are just extraordinary. So I think that's, a few of those things probably played in their mind to finally get this done.
And we're reacting to this information as it all is happening. So it's not $11 million. It's up to $11 million, which is a huge difference. There is incentives. Only $900,000 in incentives. So it's still 10-1 on the way in the door. All the Giants did was dangle a $900,000 carrot. And I look at it this way. If you're going to dangle the carrot, make it bigger than $900,000. It just shows you that there is no leverage for Saquon Barkley. There was no leverage because your only play at this point for you as an individual, not collectively, at the running back position. There's two ways to look at this. Leverage for all running backs, leverage for one running back. The best leverage for Saquon Barkley right now is to go have the best year possible because, and this all goes back to that stupid-ass rule that cuts off negotiations on a long-term deal the middle of July, anything he does to build leverage is meaningless because the Giants can't give him a long-term contract. They can't cry uncle. They're crying uncle, but there's nothing they can do about it. They can't give him what he wanted. So the only way he gets what he wanted, and remember, point that I made yesterday, and this would be very controversial and it would upset you and the mouse in your pocket if it happens. They get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
The window opens on negotiations for a long-term contract. And that day, Saquon Barkley says to the Giants, okay, I want my long-term contract now, or you play your damn playoff games without me. Would not be popular, would be hard for him to do, be hard for him to reconcile for himself to not go reap the benefits of playing a full successful season. But especially for a running back, Chris, with each additional game, there's that risk. Torn ACL, broken ankle. What happened to Tony Pollard?
Exactly.
That's what I was about to say.
Exactly. I'm not going to be mad at him if he does that. I hope you and I, if he wants to play hardball throughout the season, I think we'll both be there to support him. You know, like we talked about yesterday, he gets to 20 carries. He's been beat up. He wants to go, hey, nope, my shoulder's a little sore. It's been 20 today. Sorry. I'm not going to be mad at him. And like we heard from Xavier McKinney and how we discussed yesterday, I don't think the players are going to be all that mad at him either if he puts himself on a pitch count. They understand the business. They understand the running back. And like we said, they understand how freaky the athlete is. And they're going, wait, we got guys on our team making 2 and 3 times more than the freakiest athlete on our football team. So that's where he's going to have a soft spot in the locker room's heart as far as that's concerned. And he's loved by the locker room. He's loved by the organization. So I know it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, where it goes. And as you always say, Mike, and you're 100% spot on, with situations like this, they get used against players who love football. It's hard to tell a football player once they get out there, hey, dial it back or put yourself on a pitch count. Football players are football players for a reason. They're psycho. They've got, testosterone and want to macho and show everybody what they got and prove the world wrong. And that's sometimes where, it can lead football players down the wrong path there.
It's one of the reasons why work stoppages don't work in the NFL. Back when your dad was playing in 1987, they went on strike. It's a combination of you're not getting paid and you're not getting to do the thing that you love to do. And it's both that motivate players to go cross the picket line, end the strike, come in and sign a franchise tender that has a meaningless big picture, $900,000 in available incentives. So the whole thing is a little confusing, but it really isn't because there was nothing else Saquon Barkley could do. And he can count the fact that he gets an extra $900,000, technically $909,000 in incentives as a win because he got something out of the Giants at a time when they had to give him nothing. There was nothing. They just were going to sit back and cross their arms and wait for him to show up, and he was. That's his victory in all of this because it looks like a lot of huffing and puffing and no blowing of the house down. The reality is, and, the folks that were on that running back Zoom call on Saturday night got the clear impression, one, Josh Jacobs isn't showing up for the Raiders anytime soon, and two, Saquon is showing up for the Giants. So if he's going anyway, anything he gets on top of what that $10.1 million franchise tender offered is a victory.
Yeah.
Now, there are multiple reports that there is no provision about next year's tag. So again, they can do it in 2024 to be 120% of whatever he ends up earning this year. And those incentives would go into the total calculation so he could get up to 13.2 next year under the franchise tag. That was part of his frustration, though. That was articulated during the call. If I go out and have 2,300 yards, they just tag me again.
Yeah.
Whatever I do this year, they'll just say, hey, I'll tag you again. And We knew this. Look, I was talking to somebody about this last night. It's amazing that this is all of a sudden perceived as a new problem. It's been around for 15 years.
Definitely.
And this specific wrinkle for Saquon Barkley happened the moment that they did the new CBA with a minimum of 3 years until you can sign a new contract, the fifth-year option for first-round picks, and the availability of the tags. From a team perspective, and I'm not trying to piss off the running backs by saying this, but you look at it from the team's perspective, why would you not? If you take a running back in round one, especially the bottom of round one, because you still get the fifth-year option. 5 years, tag once, tag twice, that's 7 years, and then do it all over again.
Yeah.
Just do it all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, how the Cowboys did it after 4 years with DeMarco Murray. He set the franchise record for rushing. More yards than Emmitt Smith ever had in a season. More yards than Tony Dorsett ever had in a season. 1,845. 4 years in, and they said, see you later.
Yeah, it's not fair.
That's what this system creates.
Right. You're right. It's what the system creates. It's the way it's set up right now. I'm not mad at the organizations, but it's something that's got to be addressed by, the NFLPA and the next CBA and all that. And the fact is, and especially it hits home with the running backs, because like you're talking about, you could be sitting there as a first-round running back and be the best in football and never hit the free market like everybody else in the world would if they were really, really awesome at their job, and never get to capitalize on that. And that's BS. It is. And then this other element that you brought up that's very real, this stupid freaking we can't negotiate after a certain date, that's a bunch of BS too. That's another one that's got to go. Because this is like the perfect example, too, the Giants and Saquon Barkley, where if that rule wasn't in place, I have great faith that the Giants and Saquon would have found a way to get a 3-year, 2-year, 4-year deal done that we know might only really be worth 2 or 3 years. But I think that would happen a lot in these cases. But because of this, it's, again, takes another leg or another bargaining chip away from the player and screws them over. And that's just the stuff we got to get rid of in this league right now. The owners are swimming in cash. They've got diamond, like we talk about, toilet seats and crap. And when the players are fighting for...
On their super yachts.
Yeah, on their super yachts. And the players are,
in the
fighting
servants'
to hit a
quarters.
free market. And it's just a little too much swayed right now of let's screw the player over. Let's make so much money while our organization continues to appreciate by $500 million every year. That's where it just doesn't seem wrong or right as a human to me.
But good luck getting the average fan to appreciate and understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, look. When you talk about, Saquon Barkley's only going to make $10.1 million this year. He's only going to make up to $11 million. People are like, oh, boy, well, let's have a pity party for him. But, folks, you got quarterbacks making more than $50 million. And look, I'm not saying that makes it, dramatically less, but it is dramatically less.
Yeah.
For the guy who is in the car crash on every single play, running into the line of scrimmage, getting hit from every possible angle, all the rules are in place to protect the guy making 50. The guy making 10 is getting beaten and abused. It's part of the game. It's always been part of the game. But let's realize these numbers, we get blown away by these numbers because it's so much more than any of us have. I get that. I understand why fans react the way they do. But the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire is astro-freaking nominal. And all these owners are billionaires. And 7, 8, 9 of them have these giant floating cities with diamond-encrusted toilets and these gathering areas that somebody that was in Jerry Jones' yacht, super yacht, I've yet to get my invitation to the Jerry Jones super yacht, said that when you're sitting like on a sofa out in the open area, it's like you're sitting in a lobby in a swanky New York City hotel. That's how nice the place is.
Yeah.
They have the excess money to go out and buy stuff like that, the ultimate stuff that human beings don't need, a giant floating city. They have that much money they can do it and spend $1, $2, $3 million a week just to maintain the freaking thing. So that's the difference here. And the bottom line is the entire sport is flush with billions.
Yeah.
The guys out there that are putting their lives on the line, literally. I thought the Damar Hamlin situation would be the moment where we all had the epiphany that, yes, they do take some pretty serious physical risks, immediate and long-term, when they play football. I thought it would make people a little more compassionate toward the realities of being an NFL player, but you still get this resentment. Oh, Saquon Barkley, oh, how dare he want more? Well, he dare want more, and he got a little bit more, but the system is rigged against him.
Yeah, exactly right. The system is rigged, and at the bottom, or at the end of the day, like we talked about with running backs, as freaky as they are, and all that, we've gotten into this conversation with other scenarios throughout the league in our time together here. You look at it sometimes and go, okay, I mean, really, me, I'm a big Daniel Jones fan. I am. But I'm always going to keep it real and go, is Daniel Jones worth 4 times more than Saquon Barkley? 4 times more? He's 4 times the better and worth that? That's where, at a baseline, that just is off a little bit. It's off. Like you can go back to the 49ers a few years ago when they go to the Super Bowl. Is Jimmy Garoppolo, who was making, $27 million then, was he 24 times better than Raheem Mostert, who was an awesome running back for their football team? No. So that's where it does seem a little cockeyed right now, and we got to figure some things out in that department.
Well, and you're absolutely right. That was the genesis of the problems with Julio Jones and the Falcons. When Matt Ryan's making 30 and he's making 15, he's like, wait a minute, this guy's not twice more important than I am to the team. But that's the way the system has evolved. And it all goes back to that analytics concept of surplus value, that the best quarterbacks are worth more than the average quarterback. The best running backs aren't that much more valuable than the average running back because there's so many guys that can go out there and do it. And that's the simple reality. And look, at this point, I can't imagine we're going to get to Dalvin Cook. I can't imagine Saquon Barkley doing anything other than going all out, even if it's only $900,000 in incentives. He knows he needs to go out and have a great year, and he's already motivated to go out and play football well anyway. This idea of embellishing injuries or not running as hard or putting yourself on a pitch count, and just it's antithetical to the way football players think.
It is. You're right.
The problem that you're seizing upon, they use it against you.
Yeah.
That's what is the most disturbing about it. You find a guy who was wired the right way like Saquon Barkley is, and the system uses it against them. That's one of the things that needs to change, but good luck getting it to change.
Yeah, good luck. We'll see. You're right. We'll continue to fight the good fight. I'm just glad he's in camp. Yes, it's good for the Giants. Ultimately, I'm happy because I think it's the best thing for Saquon Barkley. And like we said yesterday, it's what I would suggest Josh Jacobs does too. I don't think he's doing himself any good by don't make yourself, what do I want to say, the example, the poster child to screw yourself over to get everybody else more money. That's what I'd say to Josh Jacobs. I like him. We've been around him a few times. I got too much respect for him and know how good of a guy he is. I want to see him get his money and stay in shape and stay in the mentality of football and not fall off earth like we said, like we saw Le'Veon Bell do when he tried to, pull the same thing off.
And his anger over his situation is overcoming his love of the game. And it's going to cause him to do something that hurts himself short-term and maybe long-term because he's so pissed off at the Raiders. We talked about this yesterday. They don't pick up the fifth-year option, which sends a message to him, we don't think you're very good. You're not good enough for us to pick up the fifth-year option. You're not in our plans beyond this year. Then he goes out, busts his ass, proves himself, earns a C on his jersey, opens eyes about how great he is to that team, and then they just tag him instead of giving him a long-term contract. So he is pissed, and he's acting on it. The report yesterday was he's left Las Vegas, and he doesn't intend to return anytime soon. And he's going to undermine his own personal interests because his interest of acting on his anger has overcome his interest of playing football, being productive, laying the foundation for next year. And that's fine. That's his decision. But the Raiders pissed him off more, Chris, than the Giants pissed off Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I think so. With Saquon, he still had the, I think you could swallow that pill a little easier because he just came off an ACL injury and he wasn't quite himself, right? And so there was some things here that are at play. Yeah, I could see Josh Jacobs being a little more disgruntled in his situation and how it played out. And of course, it's a new coaching regime like we talked about there with the Raiders, who are come from a place where, yeah, it was a platoon of running backs. So yeah, there's a few things that were at play there that I think would make Josh Jacobs more angry than Saquon Barkley.
And to the extent that players at other positions would like to help running backs, or players would just like to help each other.
Yeah.
You want to build some leverage against the system that is screwing you. Here's exactly what should have happened with the New York Giants. You've got Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones both heading to market in the same cycle because they bet against Daniel Jones last year by not picking up his fifth-year option. So Barkley and Jones careening toward the open market. What they should have done, what their agents should have done, they should have come together and said collectively to the Giants, neither of us is signing. You're going to have to pick one of us to tag, and the other one is leaving or hitting the market, and you're going to have to pay him in competition with the other teams. See, the teams don't want to compete with the other teams. They don't want to have to match what someone else is willing to pay their guy. They want to dictate the terms to the guy with no alternative. So what Jones and Barkley should have done, and this is a lesson to teammates in the future, when two or more are coming to the market at the same time and you only got one tag to use, and they like to divide and conquer. Let's sign one and tag the other. They were going to sign Barkley and tag Jones. Well, Barkley didn't take the offer. They said, fine, sorry, Saquon, sucks for you. We're going to sign Jones and tag you. If they both would have been joined at the hip and said, hey, Giants, neither of us are signing, you got to pick one. If you're willing to take that selfless risk that you're going to be the one who gets tagged, the other guy goes to the market. And that's one very real way to fight back against this system that is screwing the running backs and really all players.
Yeah.
Because Jones could have gotten to the market. Maybe they would have tagged Saquon and let him hit the market. Who knows how it would have played out.
Yeah, no, I don't, I think you're onto something there. Maybe some tandem forces by the players, this could be a thing, a new way to bargain. Yeah, join up a little bit when you got two marquee players. Or when you have a marquee player maybe that that they got to like with Daniel Jones, maybe more situations where next time around a guy like Daniel Jones, he can go, you know what, you're going to have to franchise me for right now. Because I'm not signing anything until you sign Saquon. And then we'll talk about, long-term contract. Because the quarterback, of course, we know is more times than not going to get paid, going to get taken care of. But, yeah, I hear what you're saying. There might have to be a little bit more conversations between players and agents as far as game planning, what they want to do. And maybe that's the way that the players can fight back against the system and how it's currently, set up right now.
That was one of the big points made on Saturday night in the running back Zoom. Now, look, the union is always inclined to blame the agents, and the agents are inclined to blame the union. There's just some toxicity there that needs to be cleared out. But the union wants the agents to do a better job of collaborating and colluding. It's okay for the players and the agents to collude.
Yeah.
It's not okay for the teams to do it. That's another way that you can push back against a system that is rigged against the players. The agents and the players can come up with collective action. They can come up with joint strategies that they can use. They can communicate more about the offers they're making and the offers they're rejecting and the offers they're accepting. But there's so much competition among the agents that it's hard to get the agents to work with other agents because they view themselves as mortal enemies. I mean, they hate each other, because the whole thing is about trying to recruit this next crop of guys coming in to the draft, trying to steal clients from each other. I'm amazed, and it's died down in recent years. There was a time where I was shocked that, one agent hadn't killed another agent or hired someone to kill him. And I'm not saying that facetiously. It was so poisonous. I thought one of these days somebody's getting whacked over this. That's how much they hate each other.
All right.
Somebody's going to get blown up in their car.
We're going
Sicily.
Full circle. That's how we started the show with Mafia Talk. We're going to end it with end the segment with Mafia
Monday,
Talk.
Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. But I hear you. It is. It's a competitive market. And you're right. You're saying it right? And, agents, they want to one-up the other agent on a deal, or, ooh, I got this connection with this team, and I'm going to look good, and I don't care about what you got to do over there. But, maybe they'll have to start rethinking it, too, to capitalize, especially with the marquee players and the marquee agents. I think that's where those are the guys, again, that I think can make the most headway here and really help the rest of the league out. Because if they play hardball, it'll filter down to the rest of the locker room.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.